Live Text Access Training for Real-Time Interlingual Subtitlers. This is Unit 1, Understanding Accessibility, Element 1, Basic Concepts. This video lecture revolves around environments and how they can be designed to be accessible for persons with a diverse range of abilities and capabilities. To this end, we will discuss the concepts of accessibility, usability, and universal design. This video lecture has two parts. This is part 1 and deals with the concept of universal design. My name is Rocío Bernabé Caro from the Internationale Hochschule Este in München in Germany. I have prepared this video lecture in collaboration with Piero Cavallo and the European Federation of Art of Hearing, in short, EFO. On completion of part 1 and part 2 of this training sequence, you will be able to explain the differences between the concepts of usability, accessibility, and universal design. The agenda. First, we will discuss what universal design means, and we'll watch a video explaining the 7 principles of universal design. We have embedded this video in our video lecture to provide accessibility through subtitles. The authors of this video are the Center of Independent Living, which has several very interesting videos in the internet. We have not modified the content, which is accessible through YouTube. You can find the original video in the playlist of Unit 1. So, what do we mean by universal design? Universal design is also known as inclusive design or design for all. Universal design is a design philosophy that aims to create products that are usable by as many users as possible, which actually includes persons with a disability. Ronald Mays inspired this design philosophy. Ronald Mays was born in the United States, and at the age of 9, he contracted polio, which led him to use a wheelchair. Ronald Mays worked as an architect, product designer, educator, and consultant. Some years after he graduated from North Carolina State University, Mays focused on designing accessible houses with a universal design. His design philosophy was to design things that are visually pleasing and more universally useful by all people. Indeed, in his last speech at the International Conference in New York in 1998, he defined the expression universal design more in detail and underpinned 2 main aspects. Firstly, he said that there is no such a thing as universally useful, at least to his knowledge. But he said that the use of the term is relevant because it reflects the goal well. Secondly, he mentions that universal design is for all people, not only for disabled people or people with a disability. Interestingly, he points out that universal design assumes that all people have or will have a disability at a certain stage in their lives. Ronald Mays defined 7 principles that aim at guiding the process of designing universally, or in other words, for all. The principles apply not only to physical environments like buildings, but also to products, communications, and services. As principles, they can be used to guide a creation process, but also to evaluate existing designs and to raise awareness amongst designers and consumers. The following video explains these 7 principles. At the end of the video, you will have to answer a little question before completing the video lecture. Let's go for that.
In 1997, a team of architects, designers, and researchers at North Carolina State University created a list of principles that would be used to define universal design. Today, we're visiting Berkeley, California's universally designed Ed Roberts campus to explain what the researchers called the 7 principles of universal design. This is Power On. Principle 1, equitable use. A building that is universally designed is a building that's designed for people with all kinds of abilities. That's a general idea of a universally designed building. Now, for a lot of people that live in cities, the only way to get around is via public transportation. So we're going to jump on BART, which is the public transportation system around the San Francisco Bay Area, and see where it takes us. So we've made it to the Ashby station, and connected to the station is the building that houses the Ed Roberts campus. All we do is go in this elevator, we go up 1 story, and it opens right into the lobby. This is Ed Roberts campus, an 85,000 square foot building that houses disability-focused organizations. Named after disability rights pioneer and former executive director at the CIL, Ed Roberts campus has won numerous awards for its accessible design. Designers often tack on a ramp as an afterthought, but the team at LMS Architecture started with accessibility and turned the ramp into the building's centerpiece. On the wall behind the ramp, a gallery of photos show Berkeley's deep history in the disability rights movement. The second principle of universal design is flexibility in use, meaning that a building can be configured in various ways to accommodate a person's needs. In some of the offices, you might find adjustable desks, which can be used at any height depending on each person's preference. Principle 3, simple and intuitive use. This means that the design is easy to understand for everybody. So as soon as you walk in the door, it makes sense where to go, whether to the front desk or elsewhere, via practical, easy to understand signage. If you've ever used an IKEA instruction manual, it's a bit of an exercise in universal design. Very easy to follow, yet not a single written word. And speaking of signage, the 4th principle is perceptible information. This means that the design can communicate all of its necessary information to everybody. An example of that are the signs here at the Ed Roberts campus. All the signs throughout the campus are both in written word as well as Braille. The fountain at the end of the building isn't just for decoration. It also provides a reference point for people with low vision when getting around the building. Principle 5 is tolerance for error. This principle refers to safety, stressing the importance that the design minimizes hazards, accidents, or unintended actions. In the event of an emergency, the ramp provides a safe exit if the elevators aren't in use. Principle 6, low physical effort. This says that the design can be used efficiently and comfortably and with minimum fatigue. A building that is universally designed shouldn't be exhausting to get around or to use. In architecture, that comes in the form of automatic doors, elevators, and mostly flat surfaces. Principle 7, size and space for approach and use. This principle says that the building shouldn't restrict anyone by its size or space. So that of course means wide doorways and adequate space for wheelchairs to navigate, but it's also important that nothing is out of reach for people who need access to something. When we came up the elevators, there were buttons where you would normally find them, but also buttons along the floor if that's more accessible, and you can find this feature all throughout the building. If you're interested in visiting the Ed Roberts campus, mark your calendars for April 27th and join us right here for the annual Momentum Expo, showcasing the very best in transportation and mobility resources. Welcome back to this live streaming edition of Power On. Register before the event by visiting MomentumExpo.org. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next Power On.
Now let's see how many of the principles you remember. The countdown starts now. So how many did you get right? Yes, the principles are Principle 1, equitable use, Principle 2, flexibility in use, Principle 3, simple and intuitive use, 4, perceptible information, 5, tolerance for error, 6, low physical effort, 7, size and space for approach, and use. Okay, so now we're moving to part 2 of this video lecture.
LTA Live Text Access, Universitat Autónoma de Barcelona, SDI, Internationale Hochschule, Scuola Superiore per Mediatori Linguistici, ZDF Digital, European Federation of Hard of Hearing People FHO, Velotype, Subti Access, European Certification and Qualification Association ECQA. Co-funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. Erasmus Plus project 2018-1-DE01-KA203-004218. The information and views set on this presentation are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official opinion of the European Union. Neither the European Union institutions and bodies, nor any person acting on their behalf, may be held responsible for the use which may be made of the information contained here.